Last time on Desperate Attune, the crew was in the Deathlands. They were on a mission to rescue Darta, the captain of the Silver Nails, whose own mission to make contact with the Cholomondeleys tribe had gone very poorly. They'd already intercepted Omid's gang, who were on the same mission, and taken Omid captive. But in the aftermath of the harrowing battle, Mushfiq was on the verge of losing his mind, so they returned to Gurban's cave to make him feel better. Using the heat of the star fragment in the cave, Clem fashioned a walk out of a shield, which Saida used to whip up their favorite comfort food. After the starfire fortified meal, Vidrohi and Mushfiq took a walk outside to talk about feelings. Under the swirling stars in a cloudless desert night, Vidrohi asked Mushfiq if his propensity for throwing bananas was a symptom of war trauma, and if he'd like to talk about it. But Mushfiq was not forthcoming, claiming that banana warfare was an ancient Kethrisi tradition. While he may not have been entirely truthful, it did hint at the power of the ancestor bananas over the supernatural. After all, they grew on trees brimming with the souls of the fallen. When they returned to the cave, they saw that Saida had found a walking stick made of ancestor tree wood, and with Clem's help had fashioned it into an effigy of the Prince of Endings. Saida explained that the prince was a reflection of his people, and by burning it they might burn away a piece of themselves, the piece harboring their pain. When she offered it to the starfire, the effigy burned with the brilliant blue flame of the ancestor trees, conjuring up mostly unpleasant memories. Even so, after all this, Mushfiq's head was screwed on a bit tighter, and the crew was able to carry on with the mission. On the way out, a grisly scene awaited. Possessing the body of one of Omid's fallen comrades, the Pus of Ixis had returned with another assignment. The House of Ixis wanted to make contact with the Cholomondeleys, and the crew was to act as their ambassadors. Saida, not about to be pushed around, negotiated a more favorable standing for the crew, so successfully in fact that the Pus too became infatuated with them. A day later, the crew arrived at the Cholmondeley outpost, a simple collection of tents around a prominent rocky spire. They were received without further ado, and Jabal, the leader, came out to meet them and graciously accepted their gifts. They spoke for a while and found common ground in their resistance against the Empire and their association with the Desert Wind. But extracting Darta wasn't going to be so easy. He'd given insult, and the Cholomondeleys planned to make him pay with his life. Then Clem suggested that they might engage in a bit of ritual combat, with Darta as the prize. And Jabal accepted, but all 4 of the crew and Omid would have to fight, and the dueling ground would be the top of the spire. Thank you for listening to Desperate Attune. You can support us with a one-time donation on Ko-fi, or for $1 a month on Patreon for access to bonus content such as post-game banter and a newsletter from Tree.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flame, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Endings. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. She rises, and she considers this matter of friendship settled, and I think, just to highlight it so it doesn't go missed, one of the things that's interesting here, I think, is that the people of the desert don't apparently like the Empire very much, and the Empire would like to take more direct control of them. So you already knew this was going on, but I think this highlights a broader trend with the Empire's trying to play the rural Uduashans against the urban ones. And it didn't work on these people, but it may work elsewhere. And this idea of just stepping in and being like, we're your bosses now.
Very much what the British did in India. So, it's a good strategy. It works. We know this from just
So you're now
Empire.
aware that this is a card the Akarosi are trying to play. It hasn't worked
Yeah.
on the Cholomondeleys, but
Mhm.
it also hasn't worked on them largely out of a sense of pride.
Yeah.
Like, this woman is far too proud for it, and might indeed, because she is far too proud for it, you are seeking an alliance with these people, but they are also definitely going to steal shit from the Empire. So they
Yeah.
might be slightly problematic friends to have in that regard, because they
I
do not
mean,
usually take kindly to that. But
that's
yeah,
true, but on the other hand, you know whom we know? Some
Yeah.
camel smugglers who could maybe help with that.
Yeah.
This is just like I understand that is literally the point of this game, but the fact that you do end up just doing criminal things because they are profitable is
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
There's much profit for you here. With Gerban smugglers and these people's killing and stealing, you could stand to make a lot of
Yeah.
money. And also
Yeah.
a lot of enemies.
Yes.
I love that.
I just wanted,
Yeah.
okay, related to
Mhm.
that, I was going to say, since the waterway to the Washa is blocked, right? Like, we've established that, right?
We haven't established it yet. We have established that it is probably going to happen and that it is a risk of the waterways being
okay,
blocked.
okay.
I think
Did we talk about that on the pod? I think we talked about that on.
we
the
haven't talked
chat
about it on the
channel.
pod. We talked
Oh,
out of
okay.
character that there was a possibility that the waterways will end up in trouble.
Okay, all right.
But yes, that would
Well,
also obviously be profitable for people who raid the alternative routes into the city.
Yes. Excellent.
Starving our own city for fun and profit.
Yes.
I mean,
Maybe
No,
not
just-
that.
just-
That's
just-
a bit too much.
Just profit.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm going to have
So
fun
anyway,
either way.
Yeah.
just getting to know these people a little bit, this is kind of the spirit of them. They're fiercely independent, or rather, this woman happens to be, and she's taking the people in that direction. Of fierce independence, opposition to the Empire, and now with an alliance with you.
Mm.
So, all good. However, there is the matter of the man you came to save, Darta,
Yes.
who
Yeah.
is held atop the spire, who has been tied down, anchored to the rock, and their plan was basically just to summon, pretty gruesomely. I think their plan was just to summon a desert demon to basically sandblast him to death.
Oh my
Ugh.
god. That's
So-
pretty gruesome. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, but desert demons is their thing. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
And this Samum, more like Haboob. Bit of desert wind joke for you.
yeah.
Thanks. Thank you for that. I'm sure
Certain joke for you.
that's really it's gonna land among our core audience of desert wind listeners.
Yes.
Shout out to Desert.
Yes. Shout out to Desert Wind aficionados.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, I think we will simply cut to the next scene rather than spend too much time setting this up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you will not have any kind of handicap, and it is like a ritual combat, so it's not a fight to the death or anything.
And we're all fighting?
But it could
Well,
be.
I was
Right,
about
like-
to ask how many of you want to participate, because you succeeded in this group action and you wanted to all be involved. So
I think it's a good show for all of us to be involved because we get to show us
Okay.
our skills, maybe
Mhm.
impress them a little bit. Right?
okay,
Also-
so
In
it's,
that case,
it's a 4v4 ritual combat then.
Yeah.
in that
and
case,
mostly
can I?
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm just gonna say this. In that case, can I suggest that we are fighting across 4 or even 6 different columns, and we're gonna have to be jumping from one to the next?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With,
Wolfig was made for this.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Hear
so
anything?
so two things.
Mhm.
I bet Darta is kind of like tied down, like he's being like you would for being drawn and quartered
Yeah.
at the base of these columns.
Mhm.
So we are going to be fighting on top of him. Secondly, it has to be a 5v5 because there were 5 of us in that meeting.
Yes, Omid
Oh
has
my
to
God.
participate as well. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it turns out that at the top of this column there are 5 fingers. Suspicious,
Ah.
because that's like the
Mhm.
5 spires, but maybe that's why they picked this place for the ritual spot.
Mm.
So yeah, there are 5 columns of varying heights atop this rising thing. So in fact, the whole rock formation is kind of like, I guess it kind of resembles like a twisted human arm thrust out of the ground with like a palm up top and 5 fingers.
Very
Yeah.
good.
So imagining two spires and two ropes around Darta's wrists, Darta's legs, ankles tied towards two further spires, and one rope around his neck.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Well,
Okay.
we haven't established anything about Darta yet, but I'm also not going to because he's not in focus right now. We don't know if he's like native Uduashan or Severosi or what. But yeah, there is a naked man tied in the palm of the hand.
So in a manner of speaking, we're zooming out from him
Yeah.
because it's all the way down there. It's a joke.
Yes.
It's
We
a
are
height
indeed
joke.
zooming out for him.
Little
We'll
joke
get
for
back
you.
to establishing things about Darta later, but I don't want to break the flow by getting into like who is this guy and everything. Right now, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to save him.
Suppose.
Well, if you want to establish something about him now, Clem, you can. So that's
Oh, I was like, I suppose we have to save him, don't we?
yes.
That's what we're here
Yes.
for.
Okay, more like that.
Just shank him next week
Very
on
good.
your personal time. Anyway,
Not getting paid
Not
for
in
this.
not on company time.
How obvious is it to from us down here that this looks like a hand and does very much resemble the spires in Uduasha?
I think it becomes obvious when you climb it to the top and you're like standing in the palm.
Yeah, because I think that this is a good time. I mean, not to hold things up for too long, but for Mushfiq to say something to say that, like, say that you know about this stuff, right? How come there's like seems to be an awful lot of spires that are shaped like hands around this part of the world?
You know,
This
they say
one-
that. You
Yes,
know,
I
they
know.
say that somewhere underneath the earth is. Let's give it a really weird name. Yeah, somewhere underneath the world are they of the many hands rising, so that they might one day grasp the sky for themselves. Just a story, probably. I think.
Actually, Mushfiq bhai, it's like the psychologists are saying that like the human mind looks for like familiar patterns everywhere. Like it's like how the banana resembles a, and then I think we are interrupted by the
Yes, very good.
Cholomondeleys showing up.
Yes,
I have one other question.
Yes.
Yes.
A sickle, in fact. Anyway, that's what the sickleologists say. Which one of you wants to fight the lady herself? This kind of matters because she is probably the most badass person among them, and I thought about it. It seems to me like it's probably Clem, but it could also be Bidruhi or even Saida.
Should we
not me,
play
though,
rock
huh?
paper? Should we play rock paper scissors for the honor?
Okay.
Yes.
So how does this work?
Each of us rolls.
No.
whoever-
What? You guys aren't involved. Get out of
We
here.
all roll skirmish. and
Oh,
whoever
we
has
all
the-
roll skirmish. Okay, very
You
well.
can
Or
settle
finesse,
this
it's
any
rock,
way you
paper,
want, but it's
scissors.
narratively important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's all roll finesse for rock, paper, scissors, and whoever.
Why
has
are
the
you
highest.
guys rolling finesse? None of you guys don't care about this. I'm going to take Clem aside, and we're going to talk about this.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
Okay, so it's between you and Clem, is it? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I have some ideas for the people the rest of you will fight, but I just wanted to get that out of the way
Yeah.
first.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
I
I
also
roll
know-
proud to
I also
start
know
fighting.
which-
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
I also know which finger you're all getting assigned to. But anyway,
Okay, nice.
Excellent.
nice.
Sibling Clem. Very
Did you hear?
important question. Can I fight this lady?
Is it because she's hot?
Of course, it's because she's hot.
She is hot.
Sibling Clem, do you also think she's hot?
You can fight the lady, Vidri.
No, Sibling
I'm
Clem,
not
do
going
you
to
think
answer
this
that.
lady is hot?
I'm not going to answer that. You can fight her.
Sibling Clem? Okay, lady, you're fighting Sibling Clem.
okay.
And I give them a big wink.
Uh-huh.
And I roll survey to see if Mushfiq heard that.
You can absolutely have heard that. It's fine. You don't
I
have
think
to roll
everyone
for
heard
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the part about sibling finding the lady hot.
Okay.
Yes, you can absolutely have heard that. It introduces more chaos, so why not?
Yeah. All right, Mushfik's more motivated to really impress this fight.
Mhm.
Listen, this is all part of Bidrohi learning to be a river to his people.
Yes,
Mm.
very good. So, I think lots are drawn for which finger to be on, but it's going to turn out this way.
Mhm.
Omid is on the pinky, and he fights no one in particular because we're not going to zoom in on him.
Mhm.
He fights someone uninteresting.
My
How
only
does he
question
feel
there
about
is-
being roped into this?
My only question to that. Oh,
Uh-huh.
so before you answered that question, which is,
Mhm.
does he get to bring his Jezil?
No, this is a melee fight. It wouldn't even be very helpful, I don't think. Would it?
Mm-hmm.
Unless
Yeah.
he's got to be on the end of it.
The reason I was asking is that, if he can bring his sword and his Jezil, then once he uses some underhanded trick to defeat his opponent, he can start shooting at our opponents.
Oh, that is true. I don't think they would prevent him from. Nah, it makes sense that they would limit it to like one weapon each because I think this is going to be
Alright.
the sort of fight where you.
Alright.
Where you
We
aim
said
to
this is not a
disarm
fight to
each
the
other.
death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The goal is probably to disarm your opponent. Like it's ritual combat. It's not fighting to the
Mhm.
death. That would be very
Mhm.
counterproductive. There is obviously
Mhm.
still danger involved because you're very high up, and that's that's where people get the thrill and all of this from. But it is just
Mm.
like if you're in danger of falling off, you can't just drop your weapon and give up. So
Okay.
if you're stubbornly proud, you might be in danger of dying, though.
I would really love to kill my person,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But
For
I don't
someone
think.
who's unsure about violence and all
Uh-huh.
that,
Mm.
very
Yeah.
killy,
Don't like
Well,
this.
Yeah.
very murdery.
Well, situation is such, of course. If someone dies as part of the ritual combat, then that is clearly just the will of the wind, and
Yeah.
no one can be blamed
Mm.
for it. But it isn't the explicit goal, because
Mhm.
that would be stupid. Like you make new friends and you kill all of them. Like winning from their point of view would be very counterproductive if they just kill all of you. So,
Mhm.
um, So,
But Mushfik was asking how Omid feels about all of this.
Yes,
I
about
think
being roped
Omid
into
is-
this.
yeah, I think Omid is accepting it, but he's accepting it with a kind of grim determination of a man thrown into the arena, right? Like he will do what he has to do to survive now. And this is kind of the mindset he is stuck in. So he grits his teeth at it, and he's going to fight one of the outriders probably.
Hey, Mushfik, do you remember the grim determination you showed in the arena?
Oh, is that how you describe that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm with Mushfiq there. Yeah, like yeah. Great, very good.
Mushfiq's gonna give Omid a kind of almost apologetic thumbs up, because I mean, this wasn't meant to happen, but and I don't think Mushfiq really wants to Omid to die, right? Like there's a long-term plan here. So it's like, we worked really hard for this, Omid. Don't screw it up
Don't
now.
fuck
But
it up
also, I'm
for us.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
But also, I'm really sorry about this. Like, I don't want to put you into danger right now. Maybe later.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it
Man,
out.
the two of you guys have issues. Anyway.
Yes.
Mm.
So Omid's fight is not like that interesting. I think. I
Mm.
think Saida is next on the ring finger because it is the finger that connects to the pulse and the heart. It is the symbolic finger, and you're obviously fighting one of the demon summoners. I
Yes,
think it's a
this makes
cool way
sense.
to pair you up. So
Yeah.
it is a woman with this like vacant expression, who also has some sort of exotic weapon, probably.
She
So
has
you were-
a one of those like a huge sickle on one end, and then a chain, and then like a big goal on the other.
Yes, very good. Actually, I
Sorry,
think it's
Dan.
an incense burner. It's not necessarily a
Even
weapon. Like
better.
there's incense
Okay.
in the ball.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Okay, so that's me.
Yes, that is you. And then I think, who makes sense for Mushfik to fight? Yeah, I think Mushfik, you're fighting the desert guide. Stones disappear on a windy day.
Nice.
All right.
I
And I'm
think
on the
that's-
middle finger because
Yeah.
that sums up his personality.
Yes, exactly. hmm Then obviously Clem is fighting the lady, which I think is taking place on the thumb.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Bidruhi, since you are the like river to your people, and also since you are like the duelist, I think it would make sense to also pair you with like a less pragmatic and more elaborate fighter. So I'm thinking you are fighting someone who is in between. Actually, you're fighting one of the dancers, probably.
Interesting.
Okay.
Like
One
the
of the-
ritual
okay.
dancer people with two
Okay.
swords.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Who I'll let you define, actually. Do you think that you're fighting a different hot lady? Or
Yes, I think I'm fighting a different hot lady.
yeah, very good.
It's just somehow the theme of Bidri's life. What can one say? It's a burden.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
It's a burden for someone, all right.
strength. Yeah, to go on. It's really tough.
Yes. Very good. And Bidri is on the finger that points, the
Yes.
index finger.
Mm.
Because I somehow these fingers just made sense for your personalities.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. So yeah, that is the setup. Saida versus a woman with an incense burner. Bidri versus a cool dancer with two swords. Clem versus the Lady Jabal. And Mushfik versus one of the desert outriders. I have also given Omid's foe a name just to keep it in my notes, but it's Boring Bob. So
Boring Bob.
I just needed a placeholder, okay, in case I needed to
Right.
refer to this person.
Yeah, good. Great.
hmm So,
I like
do
the
we-
idea of them both having dueling pistols somehow.
yes. Yeah, and then disarming each other with them somehow. Yeah. All right. So I guess this is how we're solving it. We're doing it the Bravos ways. All of you climb up on your respective fingers, and I think Lady Jabal, like to start the thing, will simply invite, like she will speak a prayer and invite the desert winds to watch, which means once more Samum is like around, but he's not necessarily under Saida's command right now. In fact, Samum is probably close to impartial in this fight. He actually likes both sides. No, he's not impartial. He's still in love with Saida, but
I was
he
like,
kind of
oh,
respects
isn't
the
that
others.
nice? Other people also have my problems? No, they don't.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good.
I have an idea for how it looks for the desert winds to be watching.
hmm
There are like, I don't know, 13 or so large birds, like different kinds, like crows, vultures, and so on, kind of around, and they're moving in circles, but they aren't flapping their wings. It's like they're just rotating.
Yes.
Oh.
Perfect.
Mm.
Yeah.
Great.
So she speaks a prayer, and I will suppose we will start this with the spotlight on Clem. What's the expression of Clem's face as you set yourself up for ritual combat? Like, you suggested this, right? So what's your approach to getting into a fight like this, which is not to the death? Do we see you like determined and grim, or is there some joy in this?
Yeah, I think there's actually a little bit of a lightheartedness to Clem as they, it's not to the death. This is easy. This is perfectly okay. I mean, yes, is it taking place several hundred feet above the ground, and one misstep would send you plummeting to a early grave? Yes, that's fun.
Yeah. So I think Lady Jabal also similarly finds some thrill in this. Partly like it's fun, and also for her it's a genuinely like religious experience. This is the wind will speak of her deeds, and she has a single sword which she draws against you, raises it, and she does not circle you. She simply stand. You have like the broadest platform out on the thumb, but she doesn't use the space. She just like draws it, waits for a moment to see if you will approach her, and if you don't, she will approach you. But there is no like hesitation or tactics about her. She's very direct. What are you armed with, and what do you do?
I have my shield, and I also have a sword as well.
Yeah, very good.
Not actually, no. I have the hammer. I have the Lucerne hammer. Not
Okay.
the sword. Yeah.
Shield and hammer.
Mm.
Very good.
And I think Clem will let her make the first move, I think.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
She is incredibly good at what she does. So if you're giving her the initiative, then she's going to hit you with the back of her sword over the fingers and disarm you unless you resist it.
Wonderful.
Like, I have no reason not to make this woman a tremendous badass. She won her role by violence. And if you give her a chance, she's going to take it. So I think we'll frame it like that.
Yeah, she's right in close, yeah?
Mhm.
Fantastic. I will resist that.
Yeah.
Which doesn't
And you
cost
roll
any
a 6.
stress.
Yeah, you roll a 6. So you block the
And
blow.
then she's right in close, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to... Clem, right in close, wraps a arm around Lady Drugo and is going to jump off.
Oh.
Because I have Professor Teacher Kindly Scholar.
Uh-huh.
What I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump off, and then before we hit the ground, the scholar's going to catch me.
Okay.
Mm.
So you're
Is
just scaring her by having her fall with you, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's a danger here as well, as aside from the obvious danger of
Mhm.
going curve splat on the ground.
Mhm.
They have intentionally avoided bringing their demons into this,
Yeah,
and
that's
these
true.
demons are circling around as a watching, but also possibly protecting against outside
Yeah.
interference from other such
Mm.
things.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
but I will also
So,
say that like I'm fighting what appears to be a demon summoner.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I mean this could also be seen as
Yeah.
like Clementine doing much the same thing that let's say this opponent is going to do.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, how do we want to frame this? Do we want each opponent to be a short clock to keep this going?
I am okay with anything. I think that
Okay.
what I'm intending to do is one big move. So if it's a full clock, I'm happy to
Yeah.
push myself to get to the kind of effect I need.
You know what? We will not bother with clocks in that case. I will say that in this case, what Clem is doing sounds like it just starts off as desperate great, with the great
Mhm.
effect being more or less winning the fight if this goes off without a hitch. But of course, it may not end it entirely, depending on how this plays out. Like, I think she's too stubborn and proud to just stop fighting entirely. So basically, I'm not necessarily framing it as clocks, but I am
Yeah.
framing it as even if you succeed here, you won't have necessarily won, but you will have a big advantage. It is, however, of course, extremely desperate.
Mm.
So desperate
Going
great.
Clem's going for a king hit, a
Mhm.
gamble, a gambit.
Yep.
You'll
One hit,
pay.
one kill.
So yeah, you
Mm.
lock blades with her and then hurl both of you off the platform. Let's see how it goes.
Fantastic. Yeah, so mark my shield and that off. I think this sounds like a wreck
Mhm.
to me, and
Yep.
I am going to push myself for effect here.
Oh,
It's
so extreme?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to what that means in a second, but desperate extreme it is.
Fantastic. Wonderful.
Pushing for effect. I think that there is
Mhm.
a devil's bargain. I think it's interesting to introduce one. And you are actually doing a group action with your cohort, I suppose. Like, I think it's part of this action, so I think you're rolling for it as well.
Mhm.
But I think the the devil's bargain that I'm offering you here to get a bonus dice for yourself is that, like, there's a reason that these bat ghost things stay away from the desert demons, right? They have no origin out here. They are actually from the city. They are some sort of ghosts. So I think that your cohort will take spiritual harm from diving through this whatever demonic barrier is out here. Not because they necessarily ban demons, just because, like, they ban the bat demons in general, or the bat creatures in general, from this area. So it's not that you're cheating. It's just there is kind of an electric fence that he has to plunge through.
So would that be just level 1 harm?
I think it would be level 2 harm. Let's make it a little bit worse.
Okay,
So,
that'd be 2, yeah. So that wouldn't just clear, because cohort harm clears automatically.
yeah.
I don't think I would, because that would immediately put him at -1 die.
Yep.
So I won't take that. I already got loads. Yeah, so I will roll Clem first, and we've also got synchronized, so just gonna flag that too.
Yeah, you can crit with the aid of your cohort. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Desperate extreme.
Come on, Professor.
A 1, a 3, and a 3.
That
And
is
the
a
professor
5,
rolls
though.
a 5.
Thank you, 5.
Yes.
Thank you. Hmm.
Okay. Amazing. So, what is going to... yeah, I think this is the most logical way. Lady Jabal does not know that you are pulling this stunt.
Mm.
And so she is convinced that you have escalated this to be lethal.
Mm.
So, like, you lock blades with her, you tilt her to the side, she realizes what is happening, and so she stabs you to death mid-fall. Level 4 harm.
Oh man, yes.
And then you're caught by the professor.
Mm.
So you have your shield, you can mark armor, and you can resist it, and so on. But it's level 4 by default because, like, yeah, if she thinks you're gonna kill her, she's just gonna kill you right back.
The pro strat is to resist this.
Pro strat is to resist this, and I do indeed mark armor to resist that. I think that would make sense.
Okay, so marking armor makes it level 3 harm. Just taking a really
no longer
gruesome
stabbed to death.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to resist that down to... Actually, can I afford... Because I came... So am I still at light load?
No, you can have gone back to normal.
Fantastic.
I think we sort of invalidated that when we went back into ritual combat.
That's it.
Doesn't...
Yeah. I will mark heavy armor, I think. I've got enough load for that.
Okay. Yeah, if you had gotten some sort of handicap here, this would have been impossible, but now I think it makes sense. So you mark heavy armor and take it down to level 2 harm. Very good. You can frame it however you like, where she actually gets you, if it's not in the heart.
Oh, she got you in the heart, all right.
Oh, yeah, I think it's right through the stomach.
Yep, makes sense. So you manage to deflect the blow enough and blunt it enough that you get stabbed in the guts. And then the both of you are falling, and I think it makes sense to cut away from Clem and cut back to you here, because you did got extreme effect, so you really impressed her. And it's one of those things, she stabbed you on reflex. Once she realizes that she's not going to die, she may even apologize for it, but...
I've called the time I've fallen for you.
Yes,
Very good.
Very good.
Very good. I hate
Yes.
this. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent.
I don't think this woman should be apologizing to Clem because Clem grabbed her and jumped off a spire with her. Okay?
Yeah. Well...
I can open your eyes.
Oh no.
I'm just saying, literally what happens in that song is he's like, why don't you trust me and step off this, like, this balcony?
Yes.
What song is this?
Exercise.
What? It's a...
It's from Disney's Aladdin. Anyway,
from
trust
Aladdin?
exercise.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes.
I didn't have a normal childhood.
Yes.
So,
Clem and the Lady Jabal are engaging in a little bit of a trust fall exercise together. Meanwhile, on the index finger,
yes,
Bidrohi is facing down one of the dancers who eyes you. I think she's a little bit nuts too. She's probably also part of the whole demon summoning clique. So she is like slightly wild-eyed and looks like she definitely has been possessed by things before. And she eyes you with great interest.
I wave. Hello, my name is Bidrohi. What's your name? And I don't think this person speaks Hadrati.
Yeah, fair enough. So she says something back to you that you don't understand. And we haven't established like what the dancers are dressed like. So I'll throw that to you as well. Like what is the garb of ritual dance to invoke the winds?
So I think normally they're dressed like everyone else, which is practical, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like, I think the dancers are basically just nude because they trust in and they're nude, and when they reveal themselves, like you see that their bodies are like scarred and pitted.
Yeah.
Like they've been like sandblasted. It's actually pretty fucked up.
Yeah, makes sense. These are the kind of people who have had some sort of relationship with the sand demons, and that leaves a mark on you because, as we have established, Samum is fucked up. these people regularly interact with people like that. I do want to add one thing though. I think it's cool if they're nude, but for some reason veil their faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite long. It's quite a long veil.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she
Mhm.
stares at you, and you can see a smile in her eyes, but not in her mouth because you can't see her mouth.
Hmm.
And then she does like a little flourish and a little curtsy,
Mhm.
and then she flies at you. And I think her goal here is actually not to like cut you or whatever. She lunges at you. I'm not going to have an initial resist for anyone other than the lady because these people are less cool. But what she's planning to do is to kick you not off the spire, but to kick you down and like stand on top of you, and then disarm you that way. Because apparently she fights with her feet as much as with her swords.
I mean, Bidru has had this dream before.
Yes.
Mm.
Indeed. Step on me.
So I think what happens is that this person is going to fly at Bidri, and yeah. So I guess like the idea is that they're actually quite wiry and muscular, and probably like heavier than Bidri, whom I think we established is a bit short.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea is to kind of like pin Bidri down with force. So I think what Bidri is going to do is he's going to jump up and give a spin kick to their head.
Okay. Very good. So feet versus feet. Meeting on equal terms.
Whose kick is stronger?
So I will let you frame this how you like, but I think it's going to start out as a risky standard to not hit her in the head and not take her down instantly. Because like if you kick her in the head, no matter how badass she is, she is going to go down. But I think she's also deft enough to like parry or block this somehow. So I think you're starting off at risky standard. Like she isn't aiming to do lethal harm to you, and you are not able to do defeating harm to her immediately.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Was that intentional? I bet it was intentional.
What was? No, actually, it wasn't.
Defeating.
Oh, no, it was not. Good.
Okay.
I do this all the time.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually pretty fucked up that now you don't even notice.
Yes. So.
Yeah. So I think
you get +1 die when fighting unarmed with an improvised weapon. Yeah, I think you were doing that here actually.
Yeah.
You have a weapon, but you're not using it. So.
Yeah. So I think the tops of the spires, are they like flattened in a way where it feels almost like in fact, I like the idea that they're flattened and smoothed out in a way that only desert wind could do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like in a sheer sort of way where it feels like the desert wind has intentionally done this.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is, however, a particular like spot that's a little bit higher. That's probably like a little bit like kind of at an angle, and I think I can use that to kind of like kick myself off. Yeah, just as a little bit of a flourish.
Yeah.
Because I can also say that with even the odds.
Yep, absolutely. So it's risky standard +1 die.
Risky standard. That's good enough for me.
Unless you want to trade position for effect or push.
Thinking. Now, fuck it. Let's go Let's go desperate great. Why not?
Okay. Very good. So with great effect, you can just win the fight here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to kick this person so hard they fly off the fly off the thing.
Okay, you are going to hurl them to their death then.
Yeah.
All right.
It's dueling time.
I swear, if Bidray shows up later and goes, Shere Khatam, I feel so bad about killing people all around.
Yes.
No, you're not that guy.
Well,
we have had a discussion where Bidray is perfectly okay with killing people in duels.
Yeah, duels is one thing.
Yeah. Okay, I get a bonus dice. Do I get a devil's bargain?
Okay, I have a devil's bargain for you, actually, which sort of invalidates this killing thing, but I want to give it to you because I think it's interesting and gives texture to Bidru as a character. So if you go with this devil's bargain, your intent is totally to kill, but actually one of the supernatural entities around will come around and save this person. And then possibly confront you about it.
Interesting. So I'll be confronted by a demon.
Yeah, literally a devil's bargain in the sense that it is, well, she has a bargain with one of them.
Mhm.
Some fucked
Yeah.
up thing cares about her enough to try to save her.
All right, I'm going to take this because I think it's interesting to have a conversation with the demon and about killing people in duels. Actually,
Mm-hmm. Very good.
It's
So
a
she
6.
has some protection, and you roll a 6, so it goes as you describe. And I think what happens is that like you kick her, she flies towards the edge of the thing, and she's not caught in midair like Clem, because they don't do that kind of like super badass thing. But instead, it's like she's buffeted by wind as she's about to fall off. And it's one of those where she's naturally toppling backwards, and then something physically impossible happens, and she topples forwards instead. It's like pretty subtle, but it's noticeable to someone who knows battle, right? You know that like that isn't supposed to happen. That's not how balance works. And she crumples, like she's still knocked out. She still took a kick to the head. She's still very badly hurt, but she doesn't fall to her death. And something manifests in the space where she stood. Like she crumples over, and then there's like a weird silhouette of sand that's just kind of hanging out on the pillar with you now. And we will cut from Bidruhi there.
Okay.
And go on to Mushfik.
Yes.
Who
Okay,
is
so
fighting this weathered desert wanderer. I think
how
his weapon of
wide are
choice is
these?
they're
Sorry, you're
like,
saying?
yeah, I think his weapon of choice is just a staff. I think that fits him.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, they are. I suppose they're wide enough that you can move around on them, these platforms, but also wide enough that like if you solidly kick or push someone backwards, they can fall off. So you can take a couple of steps backwards, but emphasis a couple.
Okay. Cool. All right, so I think what I'll start with is because we don't know much about the fighting styles of these desert dwellers, I think Mushfik will start by sort of just probing and see how they react. Just getting a feel for his opponent.
All right. Yeah, great idea. Sounds like some sort of survey or study or something.
Sure, survey.
If you want to go for that.
Sure,
and I think if what you're doing is just scouting out the opponent's position, then it's controlled standard, with standard effect being basically setting yourself up by learning their fighting style, and it's controlled because you're fighting carefully, unlike the other two lunatics. So that's good.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's just go for it. And it's a 6.
Okay.
I've read this man like a book.
Yes. You step in close. He turns the staff towards you. He says, like, you fight well after you've traded blows for a couple of moments. And what you realize is that you have fought someone with this exact pattern of movements before, because Moss was never a fighter, but she had learned how to move nimbly in the desert. And you see the same kind of patterns of movement in this person. Like Stones very much reminds you of Moss in this like cautious and careful and calculated way. This man is very much a survivor. He's not going to fall off this platform. So you learn 2 things here. One of them is his fighting style is careful and reserved. And the second thing is if he thinks there's any real danger to his life, he's just going to give up.
Okay. So if his fighting style is very careful and reserved, I would say the best way to defeat him would be to surprise him somehow. Okay, this might be a multi-role move. What Mushfik will do is, after getting in close a bit, he will back off, fire the hook shot, and miss intentionally, right? But it'll look like, to make it look like he's trying to hit what's his name? Stone that disappears.
Stones that disappears in the wind. Yeah.
Yeah. But have it hook onto the like the ledge behind him instead.
Okay. Sure. Step 1 is to hook shot onto a ledge behind him. Absolutely.
Yeah, but make it look like, oh, oops, I missed.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it sounds like, yeah, cool.
And kind of maybe like try to make it look like he's got an opening, and as he steps forward, engage the hook shot, pull myself forward very, very fast, and yeah, so I think just shoulder charge him into the ground. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. It sounds like a finesse. I don't think it needs to be multiple actions. It's like a finesse to
Okay.
set him up with this act of deception. You've done a setup action for yourself. So in
Yeah.
fact, yeah, because you succeeded so well on Survey, I think the effect of that is that this is just one action. You can like trick him with this maneuver in one go. So risky,
right.
standard, finesse. I think it sounds
Standard
like the
effect
actions.
will do what? Like end the duel?
Standard
or-
effect will knock him down, and you won't necessarily like instantly win the duel. It's the same deal as with Bidri, but he will be
Yeah.
on the ground. He will be in quite a bad position, and also you'll be far away. So there's that.
In that case, let's make this desperate great. So then instead of being far away,
Mhm.
like I want some once Mushfiq's knocked him onto the ground,
Mhm.
there's enough time to pull out the to draw a weapon and hold it at his neck, which is to say, yield.
Uh-huh.
It's over.
I-
Yeah.
I think it would be much funnier if you knock him down, steal his weapon, and just hookshot away with it. Then you technically won the duel. But
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
yeah,
This
I
way,
think it's just much funnier visually, right? To barrel into
Yeah.
him, snatch his weapon, and just fly away with it.
All right. Okay,
Desperate Great it
Desperate
is.
Great.
Mhm.
And geez. Okay. Could I just between heartbeats this?
What does Between Heartbeats do again?
I can deliver a blow of superhuman accuracy and speed, striking
Ah,
two.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, if you do that, then I think it can be your choice. It can be back to Risky Great, or it can be Desperate Extreme.
And what would extreme do?
I think the logical extreme effect here is simply that everyone, including him, thinks you were super cool. I can't really think of a way to meaningfully boost it beyond that. But if you want it to be Desperate Extreme,
But
I think the
will
extreme
Clem see
effect
this
is
and
just
think that I'm
looking
super
hella
cool?
cool. What?
Oh, I think
Will-
the extreme effect is Clem's watching you.
Ah, yes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the extreme effect is you look hella cool to Clem, too.
Wait, do you have a Devil's Bargain?
I do not have a devil's bargain.
Devil's Bargain is that the desert tribes leader also thinks you look hella cool.
Ah, yes. Perfect. I accept that Devil's
Is, that-
Bargain.
is that bad?
Well, it's
Yeah, 'cause
interesting.
it means, yeah, but
Okay.
I think it's partially bad because it means that now you have even more potential rivals for your affections.
Yes.
And I,
Okay.
speaking as Saida, do not need this nonsense.
Uh-huh. So,
And
but it's up to you if you want it to be risky, great, or desperate, extreme.
No. Desperate extreme.
Okay,
6.
fair enough.
Yes.
Oh my god! I'm gonna
Alright.
roll 5 ones in a row. I can just feel it.
So you just like this guy engages you in combat, you spar for a bit, then you slam into him, steal his staff, fly away onto one of the other platforms, leave him stunned and super impressed, and somehow, even though Clem and Lady Jabal are busy falling to their deaths, they see this and appreciate you midair. So,
Yeah. Because I think Mushfiq flies over them.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mm,
He has mastered the desert wind.
yes.
He's looking
Oh, yeah.
away!
Yes, obviously the extreme effect is no one sees the hook shot, they just see you fly. That's
God.
they're just convinced you can fly now.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, let's see Saida's moves.
Oh,
Muy bien.
but where do I land? Just before we move to Saida. Because
Yeah.
I want to land somewhere with the setting sun now silhouetting me.
Yes.
Yes, very
Perfect.
good. Very good.
So that happens. Uh-huh.
Yes.
So that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I see my opponent. Did you say she was a she-her?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
I
One of
look
the
her-
summoners with this incense brazier swinging around. Mhm.
Yeah. I look her in the eye and I say, "I'm afraid your weapon is clearly broken." And I'm an Ustad of the Rising Moon style, so when I
Mhm.
spend 1 stress, I may choose to disarm my opponent.
Cool.
And I think that like what I want to do is in a single move, draw my sash and cut the chain that connects the incense to the sickle in half.
Okay. Cool.
And like in a way as if to suggest that I didn't miss, right? Like if I wanted, that could have been your neck. You should just yield right now.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I think the action sounds like it's command, actually. Like what you're trying to do is to intimidate him into just standing down.
Absolutely. That makes sense.
Yeah, and because you're activating the special ability, let's just push you straight to great effect, so it's risky great. I think that's fair. You're invoking a quite powerful special ability here, which is specifically directed at doing what you need to do to win. So
yeah, which I've taken 1 stressful, and I'm curious about whether there is. Oh yeah, I had this thought, and then it disappeared from my brain. Okay, so at the very beginning of this campaign, there was a moment where this demon saw me and attempted to teach me how to dance, which I have been actively rejecting.
Yes.
Right? And I think in this moment, it's possible that I've realized that it's the dance that's meant to be done right here. If I had taken Samun's offer like a year or more ago, this wouldn't even have been a roll, right? This would have just been me, I've won now, right?
Yep.
So I'm curious whether you think it's an acceptable devil's bargain that like now I have accepted that Samun's gonna teach me. I'm gonna have to spend some time to learn.
Okay, yes, absolutely. I think it is a devil's bargain, but I will make it worse, actually.
Right.
And the way that this is made worse, obviously, is you haven't yet returned Samum to the sash. I think now you will need to do this in order to return Samum to the sash.
Yeah, okay, great.
So you will need to take some sort of downtime action to learn to dance or something.
Yeah. So
I can help with that.
Yeah. Must learn to dance. Yep.
Yeah, very good. Okay. So it's command, risky grapes. With 1 bonus die for my devil's bargain.
Yes.
What does I roll 3 failures?
Let's see.
Oh, it's a 4. I'll take it.
It's a 4. So, yeah. So you do exactly as you describe. You cut the chain. She steps back, and she gives up. And your consequence is just a follow-up of your devil's bargain. Samum has possessed you before and made you dance, and he will do it again now. He'll see, like, oh yes, this is the moment. This is when you need me.
Yes.
And so, you will take a level 2 harm once more of can't control my feet.
Yes, very good.
No.
I think this makes sense, and I think thematically, it's also that like they recognize that this is what is happening to me, so they think this is great, right?
Yes.
Like the tribesfolk here are like, they've been blessed by the desert wind, and I'm like, I fucking hate this.
Yes.
Right?
So you have a level 2 harm that will go away when you learn to dance. It can't be healed normally. It's tied to this project.
Yes. Very good. Yeah. Excellent. So this happens, and great. That's what I've done. And
Yes.
I have to deal with that. I have to deal with the consequences of my actions.
Saida moves atop the ring finger, and I think for our last combatant, let's just turn to Omid, who, as it's clear that you're winning this, he's just been drawing out the fight, like battling it out with the other person, and he kind of looks over at the person doing combat with. He goes like, "So are we still doing this? Fine. Yeah, all right. Pocket sand." And he just throws a handful of sand in the guy's face and headbutts him.
Well, surely this doesn't work on these people. Except this pocket sand is gunpowder.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. It's flash powder, I think, actually. It like lights up
Oh
in his
god. Yeah.
lights
Very
up
good.
in their eyes. Because I mean Omid fights dirty. There's no reason.
Of course he does.
Doesn't care about honor.
Yeah. That makes sense. And it's actually for a second I thought what you were going to say was, oh, we've won 4 of the 5 fights. It does not matter if I forfeit.
No, exactly.
But,
That's what he was going for. But I think,
Yeah.
from Omid's point of view, he would just do this. But then he realized,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, these people are honorable and shit. They'll keep fighting if it makes no difference. Fine.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then he just resorts to dirty tricks because why not?
Yes.
Mhm.
I
I feel like
am one of the Rising Moon Sword School. What dirty tricks are part of the curriculum?
Yeah. So, cutting back to Clem, who is caught up in the arms of one of the horrors of the desert, actually. So this is like scares people on the ground, but I don't think Lady Jabal realizes what has happened. And then you see Mushfik fly over you. She is caught, and yeah, you soar, enveloped by too many hands. Because yeah, this is not like a magic carpet. This is like 8 people have simultaneously grabbed both of you by like all of your limbs and holding you aloft.
Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide?
Yes.
I'm just saying, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just having
so
a lovely
she,
time.
yes, she looks up at Mushfik, then she looks at you, and she just says, "How is this possible?"
A hell of a lot of skill. As the horror puts us down, hopefully gently back on the thumb.
Okay, yeah, so it flies you back up, yeah. And I guess I think this is the first time everyone on the crew has seen the scholar in full view as it manifests. So yeah, it's basically like a mess of robes, hands, and wings. It's kind of biblical angel looking now that I think about it.
Yeah, we're in the arms of an angel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this thing with bat wings and human limbs lifts Clem and Lady Jabal back up onto the thumb and just kind of sets them down gently. And she has already dropped her weapon because she was stabbing you to death with it and didn't think it would matter if she held on to it. So
No, it's still in me.
Oh yeah. So she steps back. Well, you have disarmed her in a way then, I guess, because she let go of it to, catch herself on the arms and try to prevent falling to her death. So
got him.
Yeah, she looks at you and goes, "That is a novel way of disarming someone, but you did it. I concede."
I can open your eyes. It's just very good, man.
Yes, and she looks at you with a deep sense of respect, I think, and also like, that's weird. Like, we hang out with the desert demon things, but like we don't hang out with the horrors.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think the scholar just kind of soars above the thumb with its bat wings extended, like flapping them repeatedly, kicking up winds.
This is the same being, by the way, that my friend Shadia looked at and was like, "That's that." A master mage of the House of Kayat have never really seen this up close, and it's weird. So I am aggressively not looking in this direction.
Yep, this makes sense.
I mean, that's just your opinion, man.
Yes.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, I think it just kind of hovers above you. Lady Jabal looks at you, Clem, and do you have anything else to say to her?
Yeah, I think Clem withdraws the sword from Zegut with probably a very wretched kind of squelching noise.
Oh, yes, I get that.
Just coughs up a little bit of blood because that's the honourable thing to do, and offers it back to the lady. Says, "Lady."
Thank you. She says, taking it, just going like, "Yeah, I'm entirely level with you." So she like takes it, cleans the blade, then sheaths it, and just says, "You fight well, and so do your friends." And she looks out to the weird mess that is unfolding around you. Where is Mushfik at the moment? Is he just like perched on the side of one of the fingers or something?
I mean, I don't. Where did he land?
It's up to you. You got extreme effects. You can land wherever you like. I guess it could be next to the captive if you want.
Yeah, sure. I think. I mean, I think Mushfik having done his bit, and he would have seen Clem get stabbed as well. I think. Yeah. So I think I mean that's probably priority number one. So I think he's climbing back onto like the platform that comes on.
Mhm. Okay.
One of us is down. Medic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And Bidruhi is the only person with something still going on, which is being faced by I'm imagining this as essentially a human-shaped hole in the air, if that makes sense. There's there's a bunch of sand and dust blowing around, and then there's a very visible absence of sand and dust in the shape of a person. So you can't actually see the demon, but you can see the negative space. And it steps forward towards you in not precisely a threatening manner, but also not a friendly manner. It approaches you, and it is going to try to reach out and touch you.
Does
Don't
it
let
say
that
anything?
happen.
No, it doesn't say anything. Maybe it can't even speak, but it is trying to touch you.
Okay, so this doesn't have to have an effect, but I think I do say, stand back. Stop right there, sir.
I don't think it will
that
have
doesn't
an
do anything.
effect unless you
Okay.
unless you mark some item that gives you supernatural authority or something.
Okay, I'm going to first resist the
Mhm.
terror.
Mhm.
I take 1 stress.
Mhm.
And I still have my arcane implements marked, so I'm going to really quickly smash a vial of electroplasm on my sword, and I'm going to cut that arm off.
Okay. Yeah,
Coming
interesting.
There's a demon trying to touch me. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. So I think it's clear to Saida that it is trying to touch Bidruhi in a matter of ways to either speak to him or possess him or do something like that. It's not necessarily with intent of harm. But yeah.
I have bodyguard. I could help. Yeah, I have loyal vizier. Okay, so I think in that case, I know you've already rolled to resist yourself, so I won't do that. But I will. I think as this happens, I will just speak out loud. In the name of Samum of the Desert Wind, I bid you, speak not with my student, but with me, for he is my responsibility.
Okay. Bidruhi, if you're cool with it, this I think gives Saida the fictional space to act first because of bodyguard. If you're okay with that.
And I think what I want to do here is, I don't want to come in the way of the conversation. What I want to do is take away the possible threat of the demon destroying you or something, right?
Yeah.
I think Saida also feels like you're responsible for your actions, but I'm responsible for making sure that you don't collapse into a pile of dust.
Yeah. So
right?
yeah, sure. Saida can, if Bidruhi, it is kind of up to you. I think if you let Saida speak, and if Saida succeeds, then I think the demon will pause before you have to cut any of its limbs off. But it's perfectly cool also for you to ignore your ustad and act first if you want to. It's
if there's it all depends on if it's realistic for Saida to defeat someone, see this, and then react before this happens.
I mean, Saida's fight took 2 seconds. So
okay.
Yeah.
Then you can go ahead then.
Okay, so I think that what I will do, in fact, is if I say this and the demon looks at me, I will say, I am familiar with being used as a conduit. If you wish only to speak with my student and you promise not to harm him, you may use me to do so.
Yeah.
Actually, he may not, because we have an ability that says we can only be possessed by Prince Khatam.
Yeah. But you can translate at least.
Yes. Yeah, but you can't literally be a conduit.
Okay.
Yeah. This is important.
Yeah. Anyway, Saida, you may take this action, and it's risky standard, and the standard effect will be the demon will realize that touching Bidruhi is a bad idea, and it will seek some alternative means of communication. So you will achieve that goal.
Oh, yeah. Maybe in that case, what I want to do is, in any case, Samum is not in the sash, so I can offer the sash, and perhaps that will permit it to speak or something. Right?
It can possess the sash. That's true.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good. So, but it is risky because you're dealing with the occult. So it's not desperate, but nor do I think it's controlled.
Way. Because I'm trying to convince it, right?
Yep.
Take an
That's
assist from me because I am looking at dead in the eye, and I'm ready to throw down.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Risky standard, 1 bonus die. I don't think I'll push myself or look for a bargain. I think like 4 dice is loads of dice. So.
Yep.
And it's a 4.
Okay, so it succeeds, but with a consequence. And yeah, I think what it will do is it will not touch Bidruhi, it will back away and attempt to.
So what I was trying to like, for me, a 4 is like really good here because what would be really good is if Saida cannot do anything else, right? Like the key thing here is whatever the success is, it provides the demon a way to speak with Bidruhi, and it means that Saida can't help Bidruhi anymore. Like they're taken out of the scene.
Yeah, I think
the rest of the conversation.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And actually, what probably happens then is that you are like still busy dancing and moving, and I think the sash will slowly unfurl from around you and fly of its own accord over to like swirl around Bidruhi.
Yeah. Okay.
So you are deprived of your spiritual conduit, and let's just frame your consequence then as you are taken out of this scene.
Yeah.
No, I know what happens. So the sash spirals away from you, and the demon borrows your voice for song. So you literally can't speak.
Excellent.
It draws the air from your lungs.
Oh yeah, just like Samum. I'm sure that like these toxic demons don't have a problem when somebody like abrogates the agency of the people. Nah, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
You were in a lot of trouble over this.
Yeah.
But I still like the visual of the sash unfurling, so I think it still kind of floats around Bidruhi. And then there is the thing speaks in Saida's voice, I guess.
Oh man, that's disconcerting.
Yeah. And it just.
So you know what? I can, if you want, like you tell me what the demon wants to say, and I will say I will say it in the way that Saida would have said it.
Okay, you know what? That's cool. So, because this is a podcast, let's do it. I will type it up for you.
Great.
Just give me 1 second. We can edit out the awkward silence later.
I was just thinking, like, because it's a podcast, and like I know I'm editing this, so like I'm happy to like give myself this work, because it'll be worth it.
I have sent you the message.
Student, why do you seek to destroy that which is beautiful? Is it not against our code?
I ask, do you speak to me now, sir, just as you would say? Or do you, because you have the Ustad's voice, say your speech through her discourse? Because there is a difference. And I'm happy to clarify this difference if that didn't make sense.
Sure.
I have borrowed this voice, student, because you were not listening. If it makes you feel better, the voice of the one whom I use would have preferred I tell you that it does not concern you.
I think Bidruhi looks at his sword and kind of like flips it and throws it up into the air, and then catches it with both hands, and then kind of like holds it up, not as an offering, but kind of like in that gesture, but he's still holding on to it. And he says, she lunged at me, and then I jumped, and then I gave a kick, and the kick was harder than I thought it would be, and she fell. But we are fighting a duel on a death-defying precipice. We are fighting a duel on a death-defying precipice, and we both had swords. If this is not a situation where death is permissible, where I am to be chastised for the possibility of someone dying, then why the swords and why the death-defying precipice? Why do
think
we
now
have this artifice?
I think now it is a roll. I think
Mhm.
now there is stakes
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
So let's
Is
call it
it,
risky standard because you've been set
Mhm.
up by Saida. You're still speaking with the demonic entity, which is, I don't think, controlled, but
Mhm.
maybe you can just persuade it that, yeah, this is normal. So I think that's standard effect here.
Yeah. I'm going to go for sway, and
Mhm.
this isn't like bluffing or anything. I think like Bedrohi has had like a very core logic about this, which
Mhm.
it was not necessarily the correct one, but he's been consistent about like duels are to the death, or
Mhm.
the possibility of the death is always on the table.
Yeah.
And to
Absolutely.
pretend otherwise is hypocritical.
Yep. So sway
So-
makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Devil's Bargains.
Yeah, I was thinking if there is an interesting devil's bargain here, but I can't really think of one other than piling more demon bullshit on. But we piled so much of it onto Saida already. I can't
Mhm,
really make
mhm.
sense of it.
Yeah, I think like I was actually thinking of more demon bullshit for Saida, which again, as you say, that's been
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, I'm just going to take Devil's. I'm
Oh,
going to just take myself. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
Is everyone now watching this?
I more or less. I think Mushfik.
Because
Clem,
I wonder.
and Jabal
Yeah,
are a
because
bit
I wonder
distracted.
whether. Yeah, I wonder whether like Jabal paying razor sharp attention to this specifically is now a devil's bargain. Like they're
I
no
don't-
longer distracted.
I don't think it makes sense. Like
Okay.
she's been supremely impressed by
Oh,
both
yeah.
Clem and Mushfik. I feel like it
Mm.
undoes
makes
the
sense.
success a little bit if she goes like, "What's happening over there?" So
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So pushing yourself is fine. I can't think of an interesting devil's bargain
Yeah,
at this
I'll push
juncture.
myself. All right. What was the position effect?
Risky standard because Saida set you up
Mhm.
to be able to communicate with this thing normally now, so it's not desperate.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to trade position and effect.
Okay.
I'm going to address everyone down there, and like
Mhm.
I'm on a high podium,
Yeah.
and I'm going to yell out, "We have had an honorable duel, and I'm glad that everyone has made it out alive. But I see that sibling Clem is coughing blood.
hmm
I am not the only one here who recognize that in a duel we cannot pretend that death is not on the stakes, even on a mistake. I did not intend to I did not intend this woman to nearly die, but
Yep.
we recognize that it may happen, and
Mhm.
we stand here on top. Between us, there's a person who was going to get sandblasted to death by demons. Okay,
I mean, you're not
let
wrong.
us
That
please
is true.
have some perspective.
Very good. Okay. So it's desperate
I
great that you
love-
will persuade everyone that you are in the right here.
Yeah, I love that Vitrohi is genuinely like, I think he's right, but he's
Mhm.
just looking at everyone being like, hey man, go outside and touch grass.
hmm
Very good.
hmm
We have to go a long way to find grass.
That is
Okay.
true.
hmm
It's a 6.
It's a 6.
Excellent.
So yeah, this just works. I think the demon just goes like, it's a demon, so it operates by not human principles at all. But in this case, I think what happens, and I think only Saida understands this actually, is that it gets a new appreciation that my mortal is all the more beautiful for being mortal and fragile, and that's why it stands
yes.
down.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like,
I
yes,
think
you were right.
Yeah.
She could
I
have
was
died there, and I love that. There is beauty in that.
In fact, I think it will say something like, it seems that Samum has more to teach me than I thought. Because that's clearly what Samum is seeing in Saida, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, don't hide from your mortality. You're so sexy. Ha ha ha.
Yes. Yeah. And so this void in the air just kind of abruptly vanishes without any
Mhm.
further warning. And yeah, the people down below cheer for this was a great spectacle. You fight well, and you have proven yourselves now, I think, to be not just, cool fighters, but also worthy allies. Like, wow, you can speak, you can hold great speeches, the demons respect you. That's awesome.
They can dance.
Yeah.
Wonder why that's happening. I don't care. I don't know, but it looks cool.
Yeah. Exactly. So
yeah, I mean, like, sometimes you're just in a dancing mood, man.
yeah. So yeah, I think everyone has a very favorable impression of you. Congratulations.
It's
Good.
been 2 really good scores.
Yeah, it has.
Or like 2 halves
It's one
of the same
score.
really good score. But
It's
still,
been 2
like,
halves of a really good score, but they have gone really well. Yes.
yeah, like I
And-
mean, wow.
Mhm. So yeah, you can go down the ladders again, and you are in a position like Darta will just be freed. I think like the
Mm.
people who were watching him just go forward and like cut loose his bonds. I
Mhm.
think that he's not in good shape. He's not like
Yeah.
in a conversation having mood at the moment. Because
That makes sense.
yeah, they were going to kill him anyway, so they weren't taking like super great care of him. But
Mm.
they were probably just doing the like, well, let's keep him alive until the delegation arrives at least. See
Yeah.
if we can like get something out of
Get
like a
something for him.
ransom for him.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have your rescued man who is carried down and given some clothes.
Yeah, and I think as this like ends or like as this winds down, I will look at Lady Jabal and say, "Your people fought well. I am honored to have such allies."
Oh, you fought better. I am the winner in this exchange, she says with a smile. Like,
Yeah,
sure, you won in the
absolutely.
combat, but politically
Yeah.
I'm winning because I managed to ally with people who fight better than us.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Nice.
And I will say, we must be away lest this man deprive me of my treasure. The treasure, of course, being his life, which he might lose if we stay out here too long.
Yeah.
But I will
she's-
just say,
Mhm.
you may hear from the House Sixes soon enough.
We will consider their offer, but our deal is with you. She
For this,
says,
we are.
Mhm.
For this, we are grateful.
yeah. And we don't have to play this out, but I absolutely think
Mhm.
that Jabal is going to make some kind of a verbal agreement with you that, like, when we
Mhm.
steal shit we can't use, we would love to have a fence in the city. So,
Yes, very
Nice.
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
Maybe a claim then.
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think a claim
Okay.
is reasonable here.
Before we leave this place, Bidra is going to find the woman who
Mhm.
his opponent,
Mhm.
and give her a rose.
Yes,
Oh my god.
very good. hmm
Somehow,
So,
by
yeah.
the way, Vitroni is the one with the least fucked up love life.
Yes.
This isn't about a love life. This is about appreciation.
No, sure. I mean, I don't know why you got the rose, but I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Out here in the
I-
Netherlands.
I always have some with me.
Yeah.
Just in
It-
case you have to
Yeah.
give it to somebody.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
you could just pluck one out of the flower crown anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the ones in the flower crown are fake. This is the real one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Listen,
Well,
I
yeah.
brought it just in case I needed to give it to Sherekatam, either
Mhm.
for him to give it to Omid or to Sibling Clem.
hmm
Okay, I thought you were
So-
going to give it to him. Okay.
No.
We will wrap it up here, I think, with payoff, because we are
Yes.
running a little low on time.
Yeah.
But we will go through the payoff for the whole score, which was a lengthy score and a valuable one. And yeah,
Yes.
things went very well. In terms of claims, first of all, I know that's not first of all on the list, but I would suggest the warehouses claim fits very well. It's a Bravos claim where stockpiles give you +1D to acquire asset. It's a suggestion, right? Because, like I said, they will mostly be shipping things they don't need into the city, so it makes sense that you could have assets
It's
that they have stolen.
Yeah, very bric-a-brac, right? Like, not
Yeah.
necessarily. I suspect that, in fact, if they could sell it for cash, they would. So it's
Yeah.
the stuff that, like, they're really unable to.
Exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
I think that seems
sense
like a
to me.
fitting claim and makes you better at acquiring assets, either because they have stolen stuff for you or just because you have stuff you can trade for assets with others.
Makes sense.
So
Alright.
if you're happy with that, please mark it.
Marked.
Nice.
And then we go
I'm
to
going
the
to
proper.
rename
Uh-huh.
warehouses to fence for desert bandits.
Very good. The crew earn 2 rep per score by default. If the target of the score, well, the target is the Jizilchis, I suppose, are the most powerful target, and they are tier 3.
Oh, man, tier 3.
Is that
I
right?
thought there was tier 2.
Or are they 2?
I think they're 2. Let's have a quick look. No, they're 2.
They're 2.
Plus
Okay,
tier
so then
2,
you take 3 rep.
Yep,
Yeah.
I marked it.
Yes. Then you earn coin, and there is serious coin involved here because you rescue the Darta and you have a bunch of stuff. So I will frame it this way: it is either, let's say it's either 8 coin, and you get to mark one of the boxes quality, gear, implement, supplies, or something like that. Boosting your quality by just keeping some of the electroplasmic stuff, probably implements, because that's arcane implements. Or you can just sell that and we'll say that it's 10 coin instead. So it's a 2 coin difference, but I feel like that makes sense because like it's hard to fence things. And you should be paid well either way. So probably the 8 coin is, you sell some of it, but not all of it.
Yeah. And they may well have been carrying cash to give to.
Absolutely. The 8 coin here is a combination of the stuff you have seized and also the reward from the silver nails from bringing back a VIP. And you can bump it up by 10 coin if you just decide to 10 coin if you just decide to sell everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And 10 coin is a lot, so it's up to you.
I personally think we should take the cash because we need cash. In character, Saida is always like, no, money is not important. We need things to do stuff with. Stuff to do things with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think cash is just good.
I'm in general in favor of taking more cash, but 8 coin, that if we put it all into our crew sheet, then we can basically, if we don't take any of it for ourselves, then we can just take 8 coins straight up, which is the most we can take because we have level 1 vault. And then we can just take gear on top of that. And even though we need money, next score, we're still intending to hit Jasper for all his worth.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I mean, works for me.
Okay, so 8 coin and upgraded implements because you have a ton of electroplasm. I think implements is the logical one.
Yeah.
So you were saying something?
Yeah, and two coin in the scheme of things isn't actually versus an upgrade.
No.
Mathematically.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. I was deliberately framing it a little bit that way, where it's like more coin, but not a lot more coin.
Yeah.
However, the coin is always useful, whereas implements are situational. So it's
But I think we'll be good for cash soon.
Yeah.
And remember, we get +2 coin for battle or extortion from grateful citizens.
Yep.
Interesting. Yes.
Oh yeah, this was a battle. So you get +2 coin, which makes sense. The Kethrisi generally approve of this. It didn't really directly involve them, but actually it did. I realized the reason they pay you off is that these particular bandits will no longer be attacking Kethrisi immigrants. So
yes, very good.
It actually makes perfect sense why they would give you a reward.
Also, we killed a bunch of Jasper's people, and that's
Yeah.
Okay, to tell you what then. So now that it's total 10 coin, let's put 6 in the vault and take one each. Nice.
Cool. And then heat is also a thing. Now, in the Deathlands, heat is always kind of like a weird thing, but I'm going to argue for contained rather than zero heat. And the reason that it's contained is like the Jizilchis still went missing.
Yeah.
There's still like evidence of some weird shit going down, and also the desert tribes talk. So
I
if
mean,
this
like,
had happened in the city, it would be wild and chaotic. But I there's drastically less heat because it happened in the desert. But I still think 2 base heat makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like they did go missing, and just because we can be like, oh no, it was a weird Deathland demon, doesn't mean that like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
There's also like other reasons. Sard hired us. House Annexus know we did this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking it's contained in the sense that certain people know you did this, but there's no like witnesses.
Yeah, Gurban.
Yeah. So a base of 2.
People know something happened.
Yeah. You also hit a high profile or well connected target, so that's +1. And you also killing was involved, but I don't think it applies here specifically because you like Saida invoked the Prince of Endings to do the funeral rituals. So
Okay.
there are no
Mm.
extra ghosts. So I think it's just 3 heat.
Yeah, and the thing for gunfire doesn't count either for the same reason that no one was there to hear. If a gun is shot in the desert and no one was there to hear it, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And we also
So
take
three.
-2 heat per score.
Okay.
So if
So
at once
it's very
one
low.
heat.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
Wow.
It is the Deathlands.
Mm.
It's
It is the Deathlands, but it's wild that you take only 1 heat from setting the ghost of an ecosystem on fire.
yes, yeah. I mean, there are potentially other complications, such as entanglements, which I am going
I'll
to.
roll that.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to roll that?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Roll. Click either button.
Okay.
So it's rivals or unquiet dead. Well, there are no ghosts in Uduasha,
Mm-mm.
but a neutral faction throws their weight around. They threaten you, a friend, a contact, or one of your vice purveyors. So this is one of the ones where like people you haven't necessarily gotten involved with get involved.
Mm.
Yeah, you know what? I think this makes sense.
Hmm.
And I think what I'm going to go with is like this is dickish, but it sort of makes sense actually. I think it's the Silver Nails being the representatives of the Lord Governor. Like you saved their leader, but you also like invalidated their mission. So
Yeah. I mean, and I think because we brought him back, he can tell that we're the reason that it happened, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't our job to do the deal, but that doesn't mean they'll appreciate.
Or do we have the Akorosi as a separate faction? We don't. So I think it's the Silver Nails who like speak for the Lord Governor here.
Yeah, there's also the Imperial Military.
Yeah, but they're not really involved. I think the Silver Nails are the Lord Governor's like personal faction. So I think it's
And in this case, we like embarrassed them in that they were sent to do a job, and then we went, cut them out, and did our own job.
So you can either lose a status with them, or you can forfeit 3 rep, which is all the rep you gained. Which is, I suppose, basically by just shutting up about what you did, right? Let's just go like, oh yeah, the Silver Nails leader totally escaped by himself.
-1 with Silver Nails. Here we go.
Take -1 with them.
Yeah, I unfortunately Saida would be like, so long as we get paid, I don't care.
Saida doesn't know we have a crew sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saida does not know. You're right.
Yeah.
I think it's a key failing, and I'm the next special ability I take will be Saida knows we have a crew sheet.
Yeah. Well.
Knowledge.
Yeah, but it makes sense, I think. Like, if you go widely about going like, oh yeah, we saved that bitch-ass Silver Nails leader, then they will get upset because they look bad. And if you don't go around telling people that, well, then you wouldn't get rep because no one knows you did a cool thing. So you do, in fact, go around telling people you did that.
Nice.
I mean, Pilot and Bolt Murad were not with us when we went to meet the tribesfolk, but they were with us when we did the other score.
Yeah.
And as previously established, they are the kind of people who apparently just go around bad-mouthing other people. So, yeah.
I think one small consequence of this happening is because I don't think anyone actually had Giscard on their crew sheet other than Moss. He's not officially a contact yet. So I think the other effect of going to -1 is that he has to break off contact with you. He's like,
makes sense.
I did what I had to do. And like it embarrassed us in the profits. We're probably better off for it, and he doesn't hold a grudge against you. But he's just like, I'm gonna back off now.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So yeah, -1 with the Silver Nails, and you lose access to Giscard.
Yeah. That makes sense. Great.
Okay. That's it for payoff. We will make it back to Uduasha. With I don't imagine you will have that many interactions with Darta, but you will with Omid, and you have made some friends in the desert who let us add them as a faction, the Cholomondeleys, who I think they're tier 2. They're not like super impressive, but they're impressive enough to be like, you know,
if they're any less than tier 2, they wouldn't be worth making a deal.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't have been worth anything to the Lord Governor if they were less than that. So I think that's roughly where they are.
I'm going to add them as the fringe because they're not here.
Yeah. They're a fringe tribe, and I think you're at +2 with them probably. Like.
I mean, like we got extreme effect, and then we gave them everything they wanted, and we're like badasses. Yeah.
The only reason it's not +3 is that I don't think it makes sense for them to like ride into the city and come to your aid quite yet. Like that would take a little getting to know them like a little bit better. But they're at 2, borderline 3, where they're like almost willing to outright make sacrifices for you.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
are there any other faction statuses that should be adjusted?
Excess.
Oh yeah, excess. That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
did
yeah.
we get the +1 with them? Oh, that
I
already
already-
happened.
Yeah, I already gave you a +1.
Okay, that's fine. Just
With-
just reminding
with
myself that
Mm.
that data cut.
And
And
the
jackals-
Gisealties,
They don't know. That's the entire point.
yeah,
They don't
the
know what's going
Gisealties
on.
don't know. No, so I
Yeah.
don't think anything gets adjusted there. So it's the Cholmondeley tribe, it's the House Annexes, and the Silver Nails. I think that's it.
Hmm.
And
Yes, that makes sense.
let me just say that I deliberately gave the Cholmondelys a stupid name because I was sure they were going to be one-off, and now I kind of hate that you have made them your friends.
You did it
But,
to
oh well.
yourself,
Yeah.
Yes, I
and you
played
should hate
myself.
yourself.
Hmm.
Indeed. Well,
Mhm.
here we are. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
That is that. Let us move to XP. Here close the doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Psalmistry, called Tree, and Salty. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
On the next episode of Desperate Attune,
Clem squats down to Mushfik's level and goes, "Have you seen what Vidri and Mumtaz are up to? They're drawing everybody's eye."
I mean, I've been trying not to see it, but how can you avoid it?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. It's a favour that I don't want to ask you, but I suppose I'll have to. Do you mind coming over with me and talking to the person who is most definitely watching us talk right now and that I don't want you to look at?
Okay, I don't actually know what the rules of Twister are. How do you win?